All good things come to an end. I really believe that. When I left Asia right before the pandemic hit, I told everyone I'm going to be back soon. I'm going to come back. I'm going to be back. I told everyone that. And now here we go. A couple of years later, I never went back to Asia because the break I had from Asia really clarified a lot of key essential things in my life. The things that I value, the things that I wanted to be focusing on for the coming years. And I had to make a drastic life decision, which included not to return to Southeast Asia. But I wanted to shoot this video to really talk about the great times I had in Southeast Asia. And I wanted to really share my appreciation for the region because I experienced so much good there. I met so many amazing people during my time in Southeast Asia. And it all started with a dream. It started out in my parents' basement, where I was hustling really, really hard to create a full-time income online. And I'll never forget that time because it was such an amazing time back then. I quit my job, I moved back into my parents' basement, and I decided to work hard, to work my butt off, develop the skills that I needed to develop in order to create the life that I wanted to live. It was not an easy journey. Right now, right in hindsight, I'm really grateful that I spent the time, that I spent those 18 months to develop the skill set that helped me to create a full-time income. I already knew back then that, I wanted to live in a low-cost country so I could build my business. After 18 months, when I finally sold one of my websites for, I think it was like $1,700, it was a big day. That was in 2011. And right after that happened, I booked a one-way ticket to Malaysia, to Kuching, Malaysia. And it was just fantastic. I told everyone that I made it. I told everyone that I finally, managed to have that breakthrough. And I'm never going to forget that I booked that one-way ticket. And when I arrived at the airport in Milan, they didn't want me to fly out of the country. They said, you know what, you have a one-way ticket to Southeast Asia? That's not how it works. You need to have an outbound flight. And back then it was 2011. I did not have a smartphone. I had no option to book it because I only had my PC with me. I had a PC, I didn't have a laptop. So I had no option to book a ticket, right? So I was like, you know what? I saved all this money, I booked this flight, and it was not cheap, It was much more expensive back then. And they were like, well, we can't let you fly. And then I'm like, can you talk to your supervisor? And then thankfully, someone convinced that lady, at the counter to let me fly. And I'm very grateful that they did that. And I arrived and, everything just took off. I met some really amazing people. We worked together. We lived in the same house. And we had a fantastic time. We went out to party. We went out to have drinks. We went out to explore different places in Sarawak, Malaysia. I really enjoyed my time in Borneo, a place that I kind of still consider home because I made good friends there. I have so many great memories, and I'm always going to be grateful for the people I met, for the fantastic times I had. And I always say that people create experiences, not places. Places don't create experiences, people do. If you look back at the times when you were thrilled or when you just had a life-changing experience or you had a great time, it was usually because of the people. The people create an amazing time or not. It can also create a really bad time. But anyway, then, I went to Vietnam and met my girlfriend and, we built a business together. We had really good goals. We had big goals and we achieved most of them. We had a fantastic time together. We learned so much. We experienced so much. And I'm very grateful that I was able to do that. I'm very grateful for all the things I achieved during my time in Vietnam. And like Malaysia, I have very close friends in Vietnam and I appreciate that. And I will always look back and, not necessarily regret. Sometimes I still want to live some of the moments, because you're so far away from the place and you're out of touch. But just driving my motorbike in Vietnam was fantastic experience. The freedom, of not owning a car, the freedom of going out every single day to have food, to meet people, to talk, to network. It was so great. I really enjoyed all of it. I remember so many moments, key moments that I had in Southeast Asia. I remember when I jumped on a flight from Kuala Lumpur to Hong Kong to open up my offshore company. I remember the appointment at HSBC Bank. I remember my company formation assistant, how she helped me with everything, how patient people were, that, they were able to show me around the city. We had a meal together. There were all these really amazing moments that I'm never going to forget, and I'm always going to be grateful for that. I'm grateful that I was able to, incorporate an offshore company in Hong Kong, even though Hong Kong had a really difficult time lately because China kind of took over and many things happened. And I think now Hong Kong is not heading in the right direction in some cases. And that's just how things develop over time, I guess. But it was so great, being young, being a young entrepreneur and experiencing all those things in Southeast Asia during, one of the best times, because COVID changed Southeast Asia a lot. It really did, Visa policies changed, some places have more restrictions. So a lot of things really changed since COVID. And so I'm just really blessed that I was in Southeast Asia during what I like to call the golden days, the golden years. And the people that I've met, many people left for the simple reason that, didn't want to put up with the COVID restrictions. They figured out, hey, I'm now 41 years old. I would like to become a permanent resident of a country. And I didn't really see a path to make that happen. So they were like, well, maybe a different region is more suitable for my current goals. And that's what life is all about. Life is all about the current moment, being in the current moment. And if you're a kid in your 20s and you just want to live the Southeast Asia routine, you don't need to worry about residence permits, citizenships, land ownership, opening up companies, becoming a millionaire. If you don't have these goals, and if that's not important to you, then Southeast Asia is still great. I'm not saying you can't become rich in Southeast Asia, you certainly can. I personally have become wealthy during my time in Southeast Asia, right? I have accumulated wealth during my time in Southeast Asia. So have many of my friends that now left. Some friends are still there, some are in the process of moving out, but it was a fantastic time, right? And that's what I'm trying to point out, that live in the moment, enjoy what you got right now, because you don't know for how long it will last. You just don't know that. It could last for another year, it could last for another 5 years, it could last forever. Nobody knows. Same goes if you have a running business. That running business could last forever, depending on your line of products and services. If it's something very fragile that's predicated on algorithms, it may not last very long. If it's something where you have ultimate control, it may last very long because you can switch traffic sources, right? There's so many things, so many variables that really matter. All good things have to come to an end. It doesn't matter whether it's, business, even if you had the business for 30 or 40 years, you got to retire at some point, right? Or, if you had a relationship and maybe your significant other died or you split up, whatever it may be, right? Or if you lived in a place, you really liked it, but your work forces you to move to a different place. Or if the environment forces you, if the government forces you out of a country, then that's it, right? It came to an end. A good time came to an end. And I think that's what's happening a lot in life with many things, right? With businesses, with people, with locations, with experiences that we have. They start and eventually they come to an end, right? But we still remember, the memories stay. For as long as we live, we have these memories. And these memories, make sure that we're never the same person again. So what I want for you is to really enjoy your time, your current time, because there's going to be a time in the future when you're going to look back and say, hey, it may not have been so easy back then, but I still appreciate the things that I accomplished, the things that I was able to experience. And I know right now that that time is never coming back. For whatever reason, it is not coming back. And so I'm in a state of appreciation. I'm in a state of gratefulness. And I'm in a state of realization that make sure that I enjoy this very moment, because that is all that matters. We cannot change the past. Certainly, we have limited control over the future because so many things in life are out of our control. And that's why it is so damn important for us to focus on things that we have control over. Focusing on things that we don't have control over is oftentimes a complete waste of time, because we can't change the outcome. Not even your friend, not even your associate, not even your wife, your husband, your parents, whoever, your relatives may not be able to change the outcome. So why bother focusing on it? Focus on the moment, enjoy what you got, accumulate memories, make experiences, and remember, the experiences you make oftentimes depend on the people you meet. So pay a lot of attention to networking. Make sure you network and you spend most of your time with people that you have a lot in common with people that have common goals. If you have common goals, then that's a great foundation to build on. Do really all good times come to an end? What was the best time of your life? Please share your experience in the comments below. Consider subscribing if you haven't already. I'm uploading new videos on digital nomad locations, travel updates, and investment advice several times a week right now. And if you got some more time left, check out these videos. Thank you for watching.